We are the Focused History Channel. Subscribe for more stories and drop the code in the comments if you spotted in the video. This rare photograph from the American Civil War, taken around 1863, captures a moment of levity amidst the chaos of war. It shows a Union soldier playfully performing for the camera, offering a glimpse into the lighter side of military life during such a tumultuous time. Though the Civil War was one of the most devastating and brutal conflicts in American history, moments like this reveal the resilience of soldiers who, despite the horrors they faced, managed to find humor and camaraderie in the direst of circumstances. This photograph not only highlights the human spirit, but also underscores the importance of maintaining morale in the face of unimaginable hardship. Even in the darkest of times, the ability to laugh and connect with others was a crucial means of coping with the emotional and psychological toll of war. What do you think kept these soldiers going in such desperate times? From a notorious gang to a famous family feud, the Wild West was filled with tales of loyalty and conflict, as seen in the legacy of the Hatfields. The Hatfield family, emblematic of the rugged spirit of the American Wild West, carved their place in history not just through their infamous feud with the McCoys, but also through a photograph taken in 1888. The image captures the Hatfields together, standing proudly as a united front, embodying the strength and resilience that defined their legacy. The photo serves as a testament to their close-knit family bond, reflecting the sense of pride and loyalty that marked their lives in the tumultuous and often violent environment of the frontier. Despite the family's later association with one of the most legendary feuds in American history, these photographs offer a glimpse of the Hatfields before their name became synonymous with conflict. While family loyalty defined the Hatfields, another figure, Billy the Kid, became a symbol of individual defiance in the outlaw world, as captured in a rare photograph. This rare 1877 photograph captures an extraordinary glimpse of one of the most notorious outlaws of the American Wild West. Dressed in a white shirt, dark vest, and top hat, Billy sits to the left of the table, engaged in a tense card game alongside members of his gang. Billy the Kid, a legendary figure of the Wild West, is often remembered for his daring jailbreaks and larger-than-life persona. One of his most audacious escapes involved killing 2 guards, while another saw him ingeniously using a spoon to dig a hole in his cell wall. Known for his charisma, Billy managed to amass a loyal circle of friends, including Sheriff Pat Garrett, with whom he shared a surprisingly close bond. However, their relationship soured after the death of Wild Bill Hickok, transforming Garrett into his adversary. The intrigue surrounding Billy's life doesn't end with his exploits, though. A compelling conspiracy theory suggests that Billy the Kid might not have died in 1881 as widely believed, but instead assumed a new identity as Brushy Bill Roberts. This theory posits that Roberts, a man claiming to be Billy, resurfaced years after the supposed death, further blurring the lines between myth and reality in Western lore. The connection between Billy's wild escapades, his complex relationships, and the mysterious conspiracy continues to captivate historians and enthusiasts alike, keeping the mythos of Billy the Kid alive for generations. Rufus Buck Gang. This 1890 photograph unveils the notorious gang of young outlaws, an unusual mix of African American and Native American members whose audacious crimes terrorized frontier towns. Their dramatic downfall in 1896, ending with their capture and execution, marked a turning point in the struggle to bring order to a lawless land. What lessons can we take from their story of defiance and eventual justice? While the mysteries surrounding Billy the Kid continue to spark debate, the solitary life of cowboys on the frontier offers a quieter but equally compelling glimpse into the hardships of the Wild West. This photograph captures a lone cowboy resting with his horse in Texas. Cowboys played a vital role in shaping the mythology of the American West, but how much of their story is truth and how much is legend? From the isolated life of cowboys to the bustling streets of a mining town, the Wild West showcased a stark contrast of solitude and community, as seen in Manhattan, Nevada during its golden years. Originally founded in 1867 following the discovery of silver in the area, Manhattan experienced a second wave of prosperity in 1905 when gold was uncovered nearby. This discovery brought over 4,000 hopeful settlers to the region, transforming the town into a bustling hub of activity. The image reflects the dynamic and transient nature of mining towns during the era, where fortunes were made and lost as quickly as the resources beneath the ground were depleted. Amid the boom and bust of mining towns, figures like Bass Reeves emerged, embodying law and order in a time of rapid change and upheaval. Bass Reeves was a remarkable figure who became a legend in the American Wild West, recognized as the first black deputy U.S. Marshal west of the Mississippi River. Appointed in 1875 by Judge Isaac Parker, famously known as the Hanging Judge, Reeves was an exemplary lawman who carried out his duties with unmatched dedication and skill. Over the course of his career, he made over 3,000 arrests and killed 14 criminals in self-defense, earning a reputation for his courage and tenacity. Despite the dangerous nature of his work, Reeves preferred to bring outlaws alive to stand trial, reflecting his strong belief in justice and the rule of law. His legacy as a pioneering figure in law enforcement and his remarkable career continue to inspire stories of bravery, justice, and integrity in the face of overwhelming challenges. In 1907, life in the American Wild West was far removed from the conveniences we know today, often marked by creativity and resilience in the face of challenges. One particularly unique tale from this era features a remarkable cow that became a local hero. This extraordinary animal took on the daily task of transporting 7 children to school, an unusual but practical solution for the times. From the ingenuity of using a cow for school transport to the rugged adventures of hunters in the wilderness, the Wild West was defined by resourcefulness and survival. In 1908, a group of hunters and their loyal dogs posed outside a cabin in Arizona, embodying the rugged spirit of the Wild West. Their bond with their dogs was crucial as they braved harsh wilderness and constant challenges for survival. What do you think drove these hunters? Necessity, adventure, or both? While hunters explored the rugged terrains of Arizona, the towering Grand Canyon stood as a silent witness to generations of indigenous peoples who called it home. This 1873 photograph of the Grand Canyon showcases its breathtaking majesty, with Native American tents nestled in the landscape, a testament to generations who lived in harmony with this natural wonder. Just as the Grand Canyon reflects the harmony between nature and culture, a solitary church in New Mexico tells a story of resilience and spiritual connection in the desert. In the arid New Mexico desert stands a solitary church, symbolizing both faith and resilience. Built in a region once home to the Zuni people, it reflects the blending of native traditions and European settler influence. Surrounded by desert rock, the church stands as a testament to spiritual endurance and the enduring connection between the land and its people. Amid the spiritual and cultural narratives of the West, other stories unfolded in the bustling frontier towns, where establishments like brothels catered to the growing populations and shifting social dynamics. Taken in 1890 in an Alaskan brothel, this photograph depicts 2 prostitutes posing for the camera during the height of the Wild West. As waves of men migrated to the frontiers in search of work, they often far outnumbered women, creating a booming demand for brothels. This imbalance led to a golden era for establishments run by madams, who capitalized on the needs of these isolated communities. The image captures a complex aspect of frontier life, where women played pivotal, if often overlooked, roles in shaping the social dynamics of the time. Around 1869, a Native American gazes at the newly completed Transcontinental Railroad in California. While the railroad symbolized progress for many, it also marked a profound loss for Native Americans, disrupting their way of life and altering the American West forever. While the Transcontinental Railroad reshaped the American West and disrupted Native American lives, the Texas Rangers emerged as stalwart defenders of frontier law, navigating the same turbulent landscapes of change. This 1884 photograph shows a company of Texas Rangers, legendary figures known for their role in maintaining law and order in the Wild West. Renowned for their bravery, they played key roles in battling outlaws and participating in the Indian Wars, leaving a lasting legacy as the symbols of justice in the Texas frontier. Around 1900, a cowboy in Oklahoma demonstrates his roping skills, reflecting the tough and skilled nature of life in the American West. His ability to lasso cattle was vital for managing livestock on the open range, and this display foreshadowed the rise of modern rodeos, combining practicality with performance. From the practical skills of cowboys to the artistic expressions of dance, the traditions of the past often take on new meanings, as seen in this cultural performance that blurs lines between myth and history. This photograph captures a scene from the Russian white dance, a cultural expression often tied to themes of purity and tradition. However, some mistakenly associate it with a supposed Wild West custom where women seek forgiveness from their husbands during Christmas. This misconception highlights how historical and cultural imagery can be misinterpreted, blending fact with myth. A photograph taken in 1904 shows a group of Navajo Native Americans crossing the Rio Grande in Arizona. This poignant image captures a moment in the lives of the Navajo people, who have long navigated the challenging landscapes of the American Southwest. The legendary adventurer Buffalo Bill, captured in a photograph from 1899, epitomizes his indomitable spirit. Known as a buffalo hunter, soldier, and showman, Buffalo Bill became famous for his Wild West shows, where he thrilled audiences around the world with horseback riding and sharpshooting displays. He was one of America's first true celebrities, his name synonymous with the larger-than-life persona of the American frontier. Through his performances, he immortalized the culture of bravery, spectacle, and adventure that defined the Wild West, becoming an enduring symbol of American mythology. His shows not only entertained but also shaped the public's perception of the West, turning him into an icon whose legacy continues to captivate imaginations to this day. The centerpiece of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show was its dramatic reenactments of gunfights, brought to life by cowboys with authentic frontier experience. These performers often had storied pasts, having worked as hunters, lawmen, or even outlaws before joining the show. Their expertise and charisma made them indispensable to Buffalo Bill, who compensated them handsomely for their roles. For many, this lucrative work provided financial stability far beyond what they had previously known, allowing them to live comfortably after their time in the spotlight. Figures like Iron Man brought an authentic cultural dimension to the show, blending frontier myth with the rich traditions of Native American performers. Iron Man, also known as the White Iron Man, was a Sioux Native American who gained fame for his incredible skills with horses and his mastery of the bow and arrow. He joined Buffalo Bill's Wild West show in 1883, quickly becoming one of its star attractions. His remarkable performances, showcasing his expert horsemanship and archery, captivated audiences across the United States and Europe. His participation in the show was significant not only for his talent, but also for how he represented Native American culture in a world that was increasingly focused on spectacle. As Iron Man dazzled crowds with his skills, another Native American, Joe Black Fox, also left his mark on Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, contributing his own cultural heritage to the spectacle of frontier life. Joe Black Fox was a Native American who became known for his participation in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. As a member of the show, he took part in reenactments of battles and tribal dances. Black Fox's involvement in the show not only brought him fame, but also gave him the rare opportunity to travel internationally. His participation in the show allowed him to meet people from different cultures and share aspects of his heritage with global audiences. However, his experience as part of Buffalo Bill's show also reflected the complicated dynamics of Native American representation at the time, often presenting a romanticized version of their culture for entertainment purposes. Despite the often stereotypical portrayal of Native Americans in these shows, Black Fox, like many other Native performers, played an important role in shaping the historical narrative of the Wild West. One of the most groundbreaking performers was Annie Oakley. Annie Oakley's rise to fame is a story of talent and determination. Growing up in poverty, she developed her sharpshooting skills to help support her family. Her remarkable abilities caught the attention of Buffalo Bill, who invited her to join his Wild West show. There, she captivated audiences across the U.S. and Europe, breaking gender norms and cementing her place in history as a legendary sharpshooter. Born Phoebe Ann Mosey in Ohio, Oakley first gained attention at 15 by defeating a traveling marksman. She became one of the most famous sharpshooters of her time, defying expectations and helping break barriers for women in sports. Oakley's success made her an iconic figure of the Wild West and a symbol of strength for women everywhere. While Annie Oakley shattered barriers for women in the Wild West, others, like the Chinese railroad workers, faced their own battles for recognition and equality. Chinese railroad workers, despite enduring harsh conditions and earning less than their white counterparts, were crucial to the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad. Paid just $1 a day and forced to set up their own camps, they faced deep racial prejudice and exploitation in the American West. The tireless efforts of the railroad workers paralleled those of the miners, whose relentless pursuit of wealth. A photograph from 1890 shows a group of miners posing in front of their rustic cabin in Colorado, embodying the spirit of the American gold rush. This era, deeply woven into the fabric of U.S. history, symbolized the relentless pursuit of wealth and adventure in the rugged landscapes of the West. These men, drawn by the promise of fortune, faced harsh conditions and uncertainty, yet their determination drove the expansion into untamed territories. The image captures not just a moment in time, but the enduring allure of opportunity that defined the American frontier. During the tough cattle drives of the American West, cowboys endured long hours and harsh conditions. A rare moment of relief came in 1874, when a group of cowboys took a break to bathe in a lake in Kansas after a grueling drive. Surrounded by their horses and wagons, this brief pause highlighted the resilience of these workers who faced extreme weather and exhaustion. The image captured in 1880 provides a glimpse into the fleeting moments of rest amidst their strenuous daily routines. While the cowboys toiled to drive herds across vast plains, figures like Wild Bill Hickok brought a different kind of rugged charisma to the West. James Butler Hickok, famously known as Wild Bill, remains one of the most iconic figures of the American Wild West. His unparalleled skill with firearms, particularly his signature pair of pistols, earned him a legendary reputation as a sharpshooter and quick-drawing gunslinger. Beyond his prowess with weapons, Hickok led a life full of adventure, taking on roles as a stagecoach driver, buffalo hunter, and lawman, including serving as a sheriff and scout. While his daring exploits made him a celebrated figure, it was his dramatic death in 1876, shot in the back while playing poker in Deadwood, South Dakota, that sealed his place in Western folklore, symbolizing the perilous life of a man who thrived on danger. This 1873 photograph of Wild Bill Hickok offers a glimpse into the life of a man whose legend was built on both skill and myth. As a former lawman, gambler, and gunfighter, Hickok's fearless approach to justice and unmatched marksmanship defined his image in the Wild West. His role in high-profile shootouts and violent confrontations showcased his quick reflexes and steady aim, solidifying his status as a protector in a chaotic and lawless frontier. To this day, Hickok's legacy captures the rugged, untamed spirit of the era, embodying the challenges and complexities of a time when survival often depended on skill, bravery, and a touch of luck. Wild Bill Hickok's life of high-stakes adventure set the stage for other notorious figures like Butch Cassidy, whose cunning and mystique elevated the outlaw archetype to legendary status. Butch Cassidy, born Robert Leroy Parker in 1866 in Utah, rose to infamy as one of the most cunning and elusive outlaws of the American West. As the leader of the Wild Bunch Gang, he orchestrated a series of daring robberies, including train and bank heists, earning a reputation for his criminal brilliance. What made Butch truly legendary, however, was his extraordinary ability to escape capture. Known for his skill in disguise and elaborate plans, he consistently outwitted lawmen and rivals alike. But some believe his story may have taken an unexpected turn. One theory suggests that Butch and his partner, the Sundance Kid, faked their own deaths during a standoff in Bolivia, escaping to live the remainder of their lives in relative obscurity. While some doubt the veracity of this claim, it has added to the mystique of Cassidy's already legendary reputation. His ability to evade capture in the vast, untamed territories of the American West solidified his place in Western folklore as an enduring symbol of the elusive outlaw. Geronimo was one of the most renowned and influential Apache leaders in American history. Born in 1829 in what is now New Mexico, Geronimo's life was marked by both tragedy and resistance. As a young man, he witnessed the violent and brutal treatment of his people, including the murder of his family by Mexican soldiers, which ignited his lifelong commitment to fighting for his tribe's survival. Geronimo became a legendary warrior and spiritual leader of the Apache, fiercely opposing both Mexican and American forces who sought to forcibly remove the Apaches from their land. His military tactics, including guerrilla warfare and ambushes, made him a feared opponent. Geronimo led several successful raids against both the U.S. and Mexican armies, using his intimate knowledge of the land to evade capture time and time again. Despite his notoriety, Geronimo's resistance came to an end when he surrendered to U.S. forces in 1886, marking the conclusion of a long and brutal campaign by the Apache people to defend their way of life. After his surrender, Geronimo was imprisoned, and his later years were marked by his symbolic presence in American pop culture. He toured as a prisoner of war in various exhibitions, which served as a harsh reminder of how Native American leaders were exploited in the face of defeat. Geronimo passed away in 1909, but he remains a symbol of resilience and the fierce determination to protect his people's heritage. His name is forever etched into the history of the American West as one of the most iconic leaders in Native American history. This fascinating image from 1871, captured by William Henry Jackson in Nebraska, features Petalish Sharrow, a prominent Native American leader. The photograph offers a rare glimpse into the life of Native American leaders during a period of profound upheaval. At this time, many tribes were facing the loss of their lands and the looming threat of forced assimilation as the U.S. government expanded its reach across the West. Petalish Sharrow, like many of his contemporaries, fought to protect his people's way of life, standing as a symbol of resistance and resilience against the pressures of colonization. The image not only captures the strength and dignity of this leader, but also serves as a reminder of the struggles faced by Native American communities during the era of westward expansion. Pearl Hart, a daring and audacious woman, made her mark in the history of the American Wild West with a bold and unconventional crime. In the Arizona Territory, she carefully planned and executed a daring stagecoach robbery, donning men's clothing to blend in and carry out the heist with surprising skill and bravery. Her actions stunned onlookers and authorities, earning her a notorious reputation as a fearless outlaw. The media took notice, and Pearl Hart quickly became a figure of intrigue, both for her audacity and the novelty of a woman defying societal expectations in such a lawless and male-dominated world. Pearl Hart was a notorious and enigmatic figure in the American Wild West. In May 1899, she and a companion successfully robbed a train, making off with around $450. However, it was her bank robbery in Globe, Arizona later that year that truly cemented her place in Western lore. In June 1899, Pearl, along with an accomplice, robbed a bank and made off with a substantial sum of $2,500. The duo then fled in a carriage, marking one of the most audacious heists of the time. Despite the outlaw life she led, Pearl Hart became a symbol of defiance and adventure, with her story still captivating the imaginations of those fascinated by the legends of the Wild West. Pearl Hart's daring heist was a tale of defiance, yet Olive Oatman's story reveals a different kind of resilience. In 1851, at the age of 14, Olive Oatman tragically lost her parents to an indigenous tribe in the Arizona Territory. She and her younger sister, who was only 7, were taken as captives and forced into slavery. A year later, the sisters were traded to another tribe in exchange for horses, marking the beginning of a harrowing journey. As part of her captivity, Olive was tattooed with tribal markings on her chin, a symbol of her forced assimilation into their culture. Tragically, her younger sister succumbed to malnutrition, leaving Olive to endure unimaginable hardship in the wilderness. Despite this, Olive survived her ordeal, and her story would later captivate many as she became a symbol of resilience and survival. Judge Roy Bean, often referred to as the Law West of the Pecos, was one of the most colorful and eccentric characters of the American Wild West. Known for his quick temper and often unconventional methods, Bean presided over his makeshift court in Langtry, Texas, where he was the self-appointed judge. He was famous for passing judgments while under the influence of alcohol, adding to his controversial reputation. Bean would often make rulings based on his personal views rather than established law, and his court was more of a reflection of his personality than a formal judicial process. One of the most notorious claims he made was that he was appointed as a judge by President Ulysses S. Grant. However, this story is widely disputed by historians, with no solid evidence to support it. Despite the questionable nature of his appointment, Judge Roy Bean became an iconic figure in the Wild West, representing both the lawlessness and the unique characters that defined that era. His legacy continues to capture the imagination, blending myth and reality in the annals of Western history. Johnson's peaceful life was forever changed when his wife was tragically taken by a Crow warrior. Devastated and determined to seek justice, he vowed to confront every member of the Crow tribe he encountered. This quest for revenge led him to gain the infamous nickname Liver Eater, due to a practice that became a part of his legend. Over time, his reputation spread across the Wild West, and he became a figure feared and talked about in the stories of the frontier. Calamity Jane, born Martha Jane Cannery, became one of the most iconic figures of the American West. Known for her fearless demeanor and adventurous spirit, she gained fame for her exploits as a frontierswoman, scout, and even as a performer in Wild West shows. Despite her tough exterior and boisterous personality, her life was filled with hardship and personal tragedy. Calamity Jane, famed for her fearless persona and wild exploits, is forever linked to Wild Bill Hickok, one of the most iconic figures of the American West. In 1903, years after Hickok's death, Jane visited his grave in Deadwood, South Dakota, multiple times fueling stories of their enduring connection. While many believe they shared a romantic relationship beginning in 1876, historians remain divided on the matter. Some argue it was more platonic, while others suggest a deeper, secretive romance. Adding to the intrigue, a conspiracy theory claims Calamity Jane may have been more involved in Hickok's life and death than anyone knew, turning their bond into a mystery that still fascinates today. Pat Garrett, born Patrick Floyd Garrett, was one of the most famous lawmen of the American West, renowned for his role in the capture and killing of the infamous outlaw Billy the Kid. Garrett's career as a sheriff in New Mexico, particularly his pursuit of Billy the Kid, cemented his place in Western folklore. He was seen as a symbol of law and order in a turbulent period when the rule of law was often elusive. Garrett's life was marked by a deep sense of duty and a reputation for being unyielding in his pursuit of criminals. His most notable achievement was tracking down Billy the Kid, a legendary outlaw who had killed several men and gained a notorious reputation for his ability to escape the law. Garrett, after much effort, cornered and killed Billy the Kid in 1881, a moment that would define his career. However, despite his fame and initial success as a lawman, Garrett's life ended in tragedy. On February 29, 1908, he was shot and killed in an ambush near his ranch in New Mexico under circumstances that remain somewhat mysterious. Some speculate that his death was the result of a personal feud, while others believe it was part of a larger conspiracy. Regardless of the true circumstances, Garrett's death marked the end of an era in the West. Pat Garrett's legacy endures in the stories and legends of the American frontier. He is remembered not only for his role in bringing justice to the Wild West, but also for the complexity of his character, caught between the demands of law enforcement and the violent, chaotic world in which he lived. His life and death reflect the harsh realities of the time and the difficult balance between justice and survival in the rugged frontier. In 1870, Helena, Montana was a bustling gold rush town, with wagons and people flooding the streets after the discovery of gold. The city grew rapidly as prospectors sought fortune, spurred by the Homestead Act of 1862, which encouraged settlers to claim land and build new lives in the West. A 1890 photograph captures lawmen in Oklahoma, showcasing their role in maintaining order on the Wild West frontier. In a time of rapid expansion and volatility, these figures symbolized justice and stability, becoming vital to the growing settlements. Belle Starr, often referred to as the Queen of the Bandits, is one of the most notorious and intriguing figures of the Wild West. Born in 1848, she became a central figure in the world of outlaws. and was involved with some of the most infamous criminals of her time, including the notorious Jesse James. Known for her beauty, sharp wit, and rebellious spirit, Belle Starr became a symbol of both danger and allure. Her life was filled with controversy, as she was linked to a series of robberies, cattle rustling, and even murder, although many aspects of her life remain shrouded in mystery. Captured in photographs and stories that portray her as a figure of arrogance and defiance, Belle Starr's legacy endures in the lore of the Wild West. While her criminal activities certainly contributed to her fame, it is her complex persona and enigmatic life that have ensured her place as a legendary figure in American history. At the age of 21, he moved west in search of adventure and opportunities, initially working as a miner before becoming one of the most renowned lawmen of the Wild West. He is best known for his involvement in some of the era's most violent conflicts, most notably the gunfight at the OK Corral in 1881 in Tombstone, Arizona. This confrontation between a group of lawmen, including him, and a band of outlaws became legendary and highlighted the turbulent and lawless nature of the Wild West. Throughout his career, he was known for his bravery and quick draw, earning a reputation that has endured long after his death. Seth Kinman, a renowned hunter of the Wild West, was celebrated not only for his hunting prowess, but also for his remarkable craftsmanship. Among his most famous creations was a chair he presented to President Andrew Johnson, a gift designed to leave a lasting impression. This extraordinary piece was crafted from elk antlers and bear hide, exuding a rugged frontier aesthetic. The chair symbolized the spirit of the West, blending practicality with artistry, and highlighted Kinman's ingenuity in using natural materials to create something both functional and uniquely striking. In the 19th century, states like Arizona profited from the legalization of prostitution by imposing taxes, licensing fees, and fines on brothels. The revenue generated was funneled into local development and public projects, contributing to infrastructure and community growth. Despite its legal status, prostitution carried a heavy social stigma. Sex workers were often marginalized and faced widespread discrimination. This vintage photo from 1870 captures a lively scene inside a Montana saloon, offering a rare glimpse into the social life of the Wild West. Cowboys, traders, and locals gather at the bar, their faces etched with the ruggedness of frontier life. The saloon, a hub for storytelling, camaraderie, and sometimes conflict, served as the heart of many Western towns. In 1890, a family of farmers posed for a photograph in Nebraska, with an iconic windmill standing in the background. The image captures the perseverance and ingenuity of the pioneers who settled in the harsh conditions of the American West. Windmills like the one in the photo were essential for pumping water and irrigating the land, allowing farmers to sustain their crops and livestock in an environment that was often unforgiving. This remarkable photo from 1872 captures a group of Paiute Native Americans in Utah, offering a rare glimpse into the lives of a people who lived in the Great Basin region of the western United States. The Paiutes were traditionally a nomadic group, relying on hunting, fishing, and gathering fruits and seeds for their survival. Their deep connection with the land allowed them to thrive in the harsh conditions of the desert and mountainous areas, developing a culture rich in traditions and knowledge of the natural world. This 1907 photograph from Tascosa, Texas, shows a group of cowboys enjoying a drink together at a local saloon. Despite the harsh realities of frontier life, moments like these allowed them to unwind and forge friendships. The saloon served as an important social hub, offering a space for relaxation and connection amidst the demands of the Wild West. James Miller, known as Killer Miller, was a notorious hired gun in 1886, earning money for his work as a sharpshooter. He would typically carry out his assignments in the cover of night, dressed in a dark coat to avoid being seen. His reputation grew due to his precision and ability to evade capture. Miller was believed to have been involved in around 12 deadly confrontations. However, his violent career ended after an altercation with a U.S. Marshal, leading to his capture and lynching by an angry mob, marking the end of his violent ways and serving as a reminder of the consequences of lawlessness in the Wild West. The 1886 photograph captures the arrival of a migrant family in Nebraska, embodying the hope and determination of pioneers seeking a better life on the American frontier. Their journey symbolizes the courage and resilience of those who helped shape the Great Plains, despite the uncertainties of building anew in a challenging environment. This historical photograph from 1864 depicts a slave auction house in Atlanta, Georgia, guarded by a Union soldier during the American Civil War. It is a powerful and somber reminder of the brutal reality of slavery in the United States, particularly in the South. At the time, the Civil War was raging, and the institution of slavery was one of the central issues dividing the nation. The image captures the stark contrast between the Union soldiers fighting to end slavery and the horrific commerce in human lives that took place at these auction houses. In the mid-1800s, General George Armstrong Custer led large military columns across the expansive Dakota Territory, a region marked by vast plains and rugged terrain. These expeditions were part of broader efforts to secure land for settlers and suppress resistance from Native American tribes. Custer's aggressive approach and ambition made him a prominent figure in the U.S. Army, especially during the Indian Wars. This iconic 1863 photograph of General George Armstrong Custer highlights the ambitious and daring spirit that defined his military career. Custer, born in 1839, rose swiftly through the ranks after joining the U.S. Army in 1857. His bold tactics during the Civil War earned him widespread recognition, and by age 23, he had attained the rank of brigadier general. Custer's military reputation was built on his willingness to take risks and lead from the front. After the Civil War, he was assigned to the western frontier, where he became known for his campaigns against Native American tribes during the Indian Wars. His most famous and ultimately fatal confrontation occurred in 1876 at the Battle of Little Bighorn, forever cementing his place in history. The 1876 Battle of Little Bighorn marked a dramatic and tragic turning point in Custer's career. Overwhelmed by a coalition of Native American tribes, including the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, Custer and his 7th Cavalry were defeated, and the general lost his life along with most of his command. This catastrophic loss stood in sharp contrast to the earlier image of Custer as a bold and victorious leader. His previous military campaigns had often emphasized expansionist ideals and aggressive tactics, but at Little Bighorn, his overconfidence and underestimation of Native American resistance led to his downfall. In 1892, a haunting photograph captured men standing beside a massive pile of buffalo skulls in Michigan. Once numbering in the tens of millions, buffalo roamed the plains, playing a crucial role in sustaining Native American tribes. The mighty creatures provided food, clothing, and shelter, and were revered as sacred and spiritual symbols in many indigenous cultures. However, the relentless westward expansion during the 19th century, driven by settlers and the government's policies, led to the near extinction of the buffalo on the Great Plains. An 1878 photograph captures a large stockpile of buffalo hides in Dodge City, Kansas, reflecting the intense and destructive hunting of buffalo by commercial hunters. These hunts, driven by demand for hides, left carcasses to decay and aimed to disrupt the Native American way of life, as many tribes depended on buffalo for sustenance. The image stands as a stark reminder of the environmental and cultural impact of westward expansion. This 19th century photograph shows Dr. S.E., a pioneering orthopedic surgeon, applying a metal brace to treat scoliosis in his clinic. His innovative technique marked a significant advancement in orthopedic care at a time when medical practices were still developing. Dr. S.E., quote, "S work contributed to the evolution of modern treatments, offering crucial improvements in patient care during the Wild West era." In May 1862, a photograph captured a settler family outside their farmhouse in Custer County, Nebraska, offering a glimpse into the lives of pioneers who faced the challenges of the American frontier. Their modest home reflects the determination and resourcefulness required to thrive in the harsh, unpredictable environment of the West. In 1900, entrepreneurs in Death Valley, California, used a team of 20 mules to transport borax, a mineral crucial for various industries. Despite the extreme heat and desolate landscape, these mule teams navigated the unforgiving terrain, showcasing human resilience and ingenuity in the pursuit of riches from one of the harshest environments on Earth. This photograph, taken in 1895 in Arizona, captures a group of men engaged in a game of chance at a local saloon. offering a glimpse into the more relaxed and social side of life in the Wild West. Saloons were often the heart of frontier towns, serving as hubs for entertainment, camaraderie, and escape from the harsh realities of everyday life. For many, these establishments were places to unwind, exchange stories, and test their luck in games of cards or dice. Nat Love, known as Deadwood Dick, was a legendary African-American cowboy of the late 19th century. Born into slavery in 1854, he sought freedom and opportunity in the West after the Civil War. Renowned for his roping, riding, and shooting skills, Love became a celebrated figure in towns like Deadwood, South Dakota. His story symbolizes resilience and the pursuit of equality during a time of great social change. Rose Dunn, famously known as Rose of Cimarron, is a captivating Wild West figure whose life straddled courage and controversy. Born in 1878 in Oklahoma, she initially pursued nursing but became entangled in crime after falling for outlaw George Dunn. Her involvement in robberies and a notorious 1895 shootout solidified her as an enigmatic character of the era, blending romance and rebellion in a unique legacy. This photograph from 1880 captures a group of individuals casually hanging out in front of the Bob's Saloon in Miles City, Montana. The saloon, a focal point of social life in the Wild West, was a place where cowboys, travelers, and townsfolk gathered to unwind, gamble, and share stories. The men in the photo exude the rugged spirit of frontier life, embodying the rough and resilient character of the time. A haunting photograph from 1892 showcases a young woman in a Pennsylvania brothel, shedding light on the harsh realities faced by many women living on the margins of society during the Wild West era. In a time when opportunities for women were limited, prostitution became a means of survival for some, reflecting the economic and social struggles of the period. This poignant image serves as a stark reminder of the challenges women endured in a lawless and often unforgiving frontier environment. The photo of the Deadwood stagecoach, circa 1885, captures a moment in time when the stagecoach was not just a mode of transportation, but a crucial lifeline in the frontier. Fully loaded with 9 formally dressed men, both inside and on top of the coach, it was tasked with carrying valuable cargo such as gold, mail, and precious goods across dangerous terrain. Despite the constant threat of outlaws and bandits, the stagecoach was always well guarded, with a skilled team of armed guards prepared to defend the cargo at all costs. In 1878, Dodge City stood as one of the Wild West's most notorious towns, a place where lawlessness and excitement collided daily. Known for its vibrant yet dangerous atmosphere, the city's main street was often filled with outlaws, gamblers, and adventurers, all seeking fortune or fame. With its numerous saloons, gambling houses, and brothels, Dodge City became a haven for the criminal element, attracting figures like Billy the Kid and Jesse James. By the late 1800s, Deadwood had evolved from a gold rush camp into a bustling yet chaotic town where fortunes were made and lost daily. It attracted a diverse mix of settlers, miners, gamblers, and outlaws, all contributing to the town's notorious reputation. The local saloons and gambling halls were as famous as the lawmen and vigilantes who tried to restore order, making it a volatile but iconic destination in the American West. In the early 1900s, families in Nebraska faced hardships while settling on the frontier, striving for a better life. Despite poverty and isolation, their determination to build homes and farms endured. By 1910, the Wild West era was fading, but the cowboy remained a symbol of freedom and courage, leaving a lasting cultural legacy. Rodeos were vibrant events that brought communities together, celebrating the rugged culture of the Wild West with thrilling performances. At one such rodeo in California, spectators were left in awe as a daring woman and her horse leapt over a convertible, a feat that showcased extraordinary skill and bravery. This breathtaking moment epitomized the boldness, talent, and zest for life that defined the spirit of the Wild West, leaving an indelible mark on the audience and cementing rodeos as a cherished symbol of Western heritage. In 1890, a photograph of a Native American family in a camp in Montana offers a poignant glimpse into the daily lives of indigenous peoples during a time of profound change. This period marked the final years of the traditional way of life for many tribes, as they faced mounting pressures from the U.S. government and settlers encroaching on their lands. The family in the image represents a tight-knit community bound by their shared customs, spiritual beliefs, and deep connection to the land.